release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. You get out of the way. 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 Get out the way and let God do its thing. You look like the weight of the world is on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All this drama ain't good for you. You couldn't change what it is if you wanted to. You get out of the way. 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 Get out the way and let God do its thing. And the river's gonna flow. The tide's gonna rise without your say-so. The universe is working, the good is flowing. You don't plant a seed, then dig it up to see if it's growing. You get out of the way. 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 Oh, get out the way and let God do its thing. Here's what you do, you get out of the way. Get out of the way. You get out of the way. Get out of the way. You get out of the way. Get out of the way. You get out of the way. Get out of the way. You get out of the way. You get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do its thing. Morning.
Alrighty, good morning everyone. My name is Kayla Kunimoto. I am your Vice Chairman and MC here at Unity of Tacoma. We are an online church with a physical presence. More on that in just a bit, but for now, I have the pleasure of introducing our amazing guest speaker, Asha Burton-Johnson. She has been a minister for 6 years and is a spiritual director for Unity of Spiritual. Can you help me out here? It's a tongue twister.
Center for Spiritual Living, Port Angeles.
Port Angeles, yes. Thank you, Asha. I could not have done that without you. And our musical guest, Becky, Thatcher, and Matt Corey, also known as the Zebas. They have been a musical staple here at Unity for quite some time, so it's a pleasure having you here. Asha has her own Zeba too. So I have a update for you all today, and that update is that Unity of Tacoma's Board of Trustees just want to thank you for your continual support, your continual patience and flexibility as we are trying to adapt to the challenges of the health crisis facing our country right now. We're trying to give you a church experience to some degree the best we can while following health guidelines for everyone's safety. We will continue to monitor this situation for any changes so that we can give you the best time for when we will be meeting in person for our Sunday services. As always, we seek the guidance for Spirit in making wise decisions that will be affecting us all, and we will let you know the details when this plan changes. Adding to that, we are working on a prayer page and art gallery to make this experience more fun and better for us all. Until we can see each other in person again, I just want to say please take care and stay safe. So to that, Asha, if you could lead us into this morning's prayer, that would be fantastic.
That would be my honor. So I just invite us to take a deep breath in and let it go, letting go of everything that came before this very moment. I invite us to take another deep breath and let it go, letting go of everything that's happening after this time together. And we fall right into this present moment, which is always available to us, which is always just waiting for our recognition. This beautiful ocean of divine life in which we swim and move and have our being. I'm so deeply grateful for Unity of Tacoma and all the many spiritual centers across the world that gather in consciousness, holding this one life as the truth of all life. There is no separation. There is only one, and we are a part of that. And what a beautiful blessing that is. So I know that today's gathering, this service, is perfectly divinely ordained, that everything that wants to happen happens, and that it unfolds perfectly because it has already done so in the mind of the one. So we can relax and have fun and be together and connect through this amazing medium. I'm so grateful for technology, when it works and when it doesn't. And I simply let it all go, trusting the process in this moment, as we say together, and so it is.
Amen.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy this, what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. Just close your eyes and make a wish and smile. Amazing,
That was beautiful. Thank you so, so much. Good morning. My name is Reverend Asha Burton-Johnson. I'm the spiritual director of Center for Spiritual Living, Port Angeles. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and I am very grateful to be with you this morning. I'm with Centers for Spiritual Living, and I've done talks at Unity in the Olympics and Unity of North Kitsap, and because we are all sister organizations, it works very well. I'm very grateful to be with you today. Oh, let's just take a deep breath together. It's been a time. It's been several months. And then yet in the last couple of days, we've had yet more unrest, more unearthing, more discovery, more of everything. So I've been focusing my talks in the last month or so on a book that you're going to see backwards, but I'll tell you the title. It's called Improv Wisdom. I just want you to see the cover. So when you go look it up on Amazon, you know what it looks like, or your local bookstore, preferably. I have been teaching improvisation as a spiritual growth tool for quite a number of years. I fell into improv as a sort of an accident. I've been in theater since I was 11, and I found great efficacy and a lot of growth for myself as a person by doing drama. And then years later, I became a drama teacher, and I was a drama teacher in schools and for a large nonprofit children's theater, and did just all kinds of iterations of teaching drama, because not so people could be fabulous actors, but so they could discover who they are and how to express who they are freely and more spontaneously. And also explore all the parts of ourselves in what I would call a safe atmosphere. I told somebody yesterday, I'm a nice person, and I love playing mean, nasty, rotten, evil characters, because that's a way to express that part of myself without actually hurting anyone. So I fell across improvisation a number of years ago, gosh, probably almost 30 now, and Spirit definitely spoke to me in that this was something, everything I read about improvisation are the same spiritual tools we talk about in our philosophies. Whatever is happening is perfect. Stay in the present moment. There are no mistakes. So I read a book that literally fell off a library shelf at my feet. And at the end of each chapter were all these rules. And they were all exactly what I was studying in my spiritual studies. So I got a voice that said, you need to do a class. And I said, how am I going to do a class? I don't know anything about improv. I'm a scripted actor. And yet here I am now, almost 30 years later, using improvisation as a spiritual growth tool. I do classes and workshops, and a lot of my speaking references improvisation because I find it to be such a powerful process. So many people think that I can't do improv. And what I remind everyone is we improvise every moment of every day. Nobody gave you a script when you got up this morning. So that's who we are. That's what we do. I'm turning up my microphone a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to talk about, in this book, the author references what she calls the maxims or rules. And today I want to focus a little bit on the 9th and the 10th maxim from this book. And the 9th maxim is the title of my talk, Awake to the Gifts. In our philosophies, we often have heard the term spiritual bypass, where we want to rush so quickly to find the good that we miss all of the gifts that are waiting for us kind of along the road. We miss honoring where we are in a moment and recognizing what's happening within us. We miss the healing that's being called for when we experience what Ernest Holmes, the founder of our philosophy, Science of Mind, preferred and non-preferred experiences. I don't like to say good and bad anymore, or right and wrong. I really appreciate the term preferred and non-preferred, because they so much have to do with my preferences. Spirit sees no right or wrong. Whatever's happening is life expressing. I, however, have preferences. You have preferences. And I don't prefer to feel angry, upset, frightened, furious, outraged, all those things. And yet we do, because we're human. And right now, we're seeing that once again, larger than life. And yet this is life. It's a weird expression, larger than life, right? Because everything is life happening. So when we wake up to what is happening, the gifts that are present in what is happening, it gives us a place to move forward from. The author talks in the book about the three usual methods, or the two usual methods that we tend to go about our life in. One is the critical method. We focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what's not enough. And in that particular viewpoint, the critical method, which I am guilty of, often with my lovely husband, because he's handy, in this critical method, focusing on what's wrong, it's all about me. It's all about myself, my preferences, what I want to be happening, how I think it should be. So in the critical method, the self looms very large. The other way that we tend to look at things is the scientific method. In the scientific method, we look at this objective view. And in the objective view, the self and others have to disappear. We're only focusing on the facts as they appear. In the improviser's method, which is my preference, in the improviser's method, others loom large. Not my preferences, but preferences of the collective, of the group. When we do an improvisation, whatever I want to happen is probably not what's going to happen unless I initiate the scene. If someone else initiates the scene, my job is to make whatever I'm given work and then make it beautiful, make it amazing. Doesn't necessarily mean make it funny, but to go with what is given to me and then use that to move the scene forward. So we have to work together in an improvisation, whether it's one person or a group. The others are the most important, what they're giving and receiving each other. So we become this other collective. Does that make sense? Yeah. In the improviser's method, we take whatever we're given and we treat it as a precious gift. And then we are required to use it. And I really love this idea. She references a lot about how we have been as humans on the planet. And she said, in the improviser's method, we become stewards of what we're given, not masters over what we've been given. In this planet, we've been acting like masters for a long time. And we have the opportunity now in this world to become stewards of each other and of the planet. So this idea of stewardship, again, holds that whatever we're holding is precious. And it's up to us to care for it in the best way we possibly can. So let's take a deep breath. I learned something recently about the way the brain works. The brain can only absorb small bits of information at a time. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and notice what you remember about what I just said. What felt important, valuable, or that you remember. Just notice. Take another deep breath and come back. One of the quotes from the book said, "You don't need to abandon your dreams. Just don't let them get in the way of noticing what is taking place." I had a dream 15 years ago of a place where people would come together and find spiritual connection for themselves, for each other, and for the world every day in a different form. And I was not a minister, and I was never going to be a minister. I had a different dream. And here I am, almost 10 years later, after the original vision, a minister on a piece of property that I imagined, but I never really thought was possible, in a community that finds spirit and connection every day. When we first decided that Port Angeles was the place we wanted to move, my husband and I, and then my mom and stepdad decided to join us, we were pretty clear we were going to move in a few months. My mom and I have what I call magic house finding juju. we seem to be able to manifest places to live and have them come through very quickly. So we were clear, oh, we're going to be moved in 3 months. They'll sell their house, we'll sell our house, we'll buy this property together. Then, right? That was our dream. 9 months later, 9 months later, at about the 6-month mark, I was forgetting, you don't need to abandon your dreams. Just don't let them get in the way of noticing what is taking place. What was taking place was, if we had moved when we wanted to, we would have moved in the middle of winter. That's not a great plan. And the house that we ended up with and the property we ended up with wasn't on the market until April. And we wanted to move by January. And we'd looked at some places and they were close. How many times have we looked at a dream and thought to ourselves, yeah, we can make that work. That person, that job, I can make that work. Those shoes that we think are going to be great, and then we walk in them for an hour. We didn't want to buy a house or a property that was like a too small shoe on a too big foot and was only comfortable for an hour. So we had to wait. We had to be patient and notice what was happening and still continue to hold the vision, to be awake to the gifts that were happening in the process of finding our perfect place. And now we're here. And we have people come to the property and have our spiritual center here. And then everything shuts down. The dream is shifting yet again. And here we are, you and I together today. My community, we gather Thursday nights. I'm talking from my living room now most of the time, which I was doing before when it was cold, because we have a lovely barn, but it's too cold in the winter. What is happening? And can we use that to move us forward? Part of the finding of the gifts is being aware of the way that we are connected to all of life, that there is no separation, that whatever is happening is part of a great chain of creation, and we are part of that. So wherever you are right in this moment, I want you to notice what is supporting you in this moment. If you're sitting, what is holding you up? If you happen to be laying on the floor, what's holding you up? Notice what is supporting you physically in this moment. And think to yourself, someone had to imagine the thing that is supporting me. Somebody else created the thing that is supporting me. Somebody else purchased it, shipped it, sent it to a store where you maybe bought it. Or maybe like my chairs, I'm sitting on a chair that my mom and dad bought in 1959. There's a long chain of creation attached to everything, and we are part of that. That is part of the gift of life, is being aware of the connections and the thread of life that has been moving through since time immemorial. Everything around us is waiting to give us service, like we are waiting to be of service in the world and looking for ways to do that. I have a really, it disappeared, my cup went away. I filled it up with water. I was going to show you a great cup, but forget about that. We're going to work with what is here. So in this chain of creation, we just can notice what's here, the gifts that are present in this moment. And it's not about the stuff, but it's about the connection, the oneness, the through line of creativity that is happening in every single moment, even when we can't see it, even when it doesn't feel visible or attainable. Take another breath. Notice what you notice. And come back. The 10th maxim in the book is make mistakes. I am a perfectionist, and I am what I used to say I was a control freak. Now I say I'm a control enthusiast. Making mistakes is not what we generally have been taught to do. In improvisation and in life, it is the only way we learn. It's the only way we grow when we mess up. In improvisation, the teacher talks about she tells her students, she makes them make mistakes, mess it up, do it big, be dramatic about it, because that's a safe container in which to do that. It doesn't always feel so safe to do that in our life. And if you're doing brain surgery, you really don't want mistakes to happen. So you get to be clear about, the line for where you want to draw this idea. Making mistakes, mistakes, in the movies, it doesn't go right, they do it again, and they do it again, and they do it again. Another take. My mom has shared a story about watching a documentary about Leonard Bernstein directing the orchestra for West Side Story. And she heard on the recording, take 3, take 27, take 112. How much patience would we have if we had to do something 112 or 3,000 times like Thomas Edison before he discovered the light bulb? When would we give up? At what point would we say, that's enough, I'm done? Or would we take what we're given, use it, and learn from it? She said, here's what we do with mistakes. We notice it, we acknowledge it, and we use it. In an improvisation, there can be no mistakes because everything is used. Whatever somebody says, whatever happens, they use it to move the scene forward. Can we do that? I noticed, I did my talk this week on Thursday, and earlier that day was when a lot of stuff started to blow up again in the country with the murder in Minnesota. Yeah, I say murder. And I dove into Facebook, and I noticed myself reacting, not responding. I draw a very clear line between response and reaction. I reacted from my pain, from my angst, from my upset, and I posted some things. And then I got some education, and I realized I made a mistake. I put my voice into something that doesn't require my voice. As a white, heteronormative, cisgendered, middle-class woman, my voice currently has no place in this discussion. And I felt shame, and I felt regret, and I felt I had made a mistake. Luckily, I have this book. Luckily, I had planned to talk about making mistakes. And so what could I do with this shame, this regret, this mistake? I could notice it, I could acknowledge it, and I can use it. So my next post was to make a pledge. My voice has no place in this conversation right now. My job is to educate myself. It's not somebody else's job to educate me on issues of color, on issues of LGBTQ issues. That's not someone else's job. It's my job to educate myself on history, on factual information, on what's happening. And then maybe I can have something to say, or maybe not. Maybe I can stand for people differently, to be an authentic ally for people in the world. Oof. When something happens for me and I speak it and it's really true, my jaw starts to chatter. It's a weird physical response, and I'm having that energetic release happening in my body. So if I make a funny face, that's why. So can we take our mistakes, our beautiful, messy humanity, and the things that happen to us, and the ways that we want to move in the world, and can we notice as quickly as we can, and then acknowledge it? Boy, I messed up. And then use whatever happened to discover, how can I move myself forward more gracefully, more lovingly, more compassionately with myself, with others, with the world? Can we notice the way things are going instead of the way we want them to go, and react and respond from that? The goal in acknowledging our mistakes over and over again is a couple of things. One, our response time gets a little quicker. The more practice we have at acknowledging our lovely human mistakes. And the goal is resilience and persistence in the face of failure. Failing again and again and again. I love the synchronicities of life. I read the Science of Mind magazine every morning, which is filled with, comes from our home office. It's filled with articles and then daily affirmations like you have also in Unity. Today was, the whole month was written by Minister David Alt. I need my glasses. And he talked about his experience and some preferences that he had about the way his life would go last year, and that it didn't go that way at all. And he said, I wouldn't change a thing. Falling provides two options. Identify with the failing or falling as final, or allow grace to lift you. My humanness could not have planned what happened. Grace produced my rapid recovery and reestablished an entirely new soil of being. Today, there is a new authentic happiness very much alive within me. He was scheduled to have some very serious surgery and then couldn't have it because of blood clots and some other things, and it had to be delayed. And in the delay, he unearthed some ancient trauma within himself. Some ancient, in the feeling of I've failed and I'm not worthy and I'm no good. In the process of the year of waiting for this surgery, he unearthed some old hidden pain, and he's been doing deep work for a long time. It only could come through this apparent failing. He says, grace operates as divine givingness, and it will not cease its mission. Sometimes it works through falling and fallow seasons. It's there even when we forget, and it's here now for you. There's never been a better time to welcome it in your heart. I surrender to divine grace. So can we fall? Can we get back up again? You know, we think of babies. They fall down a million times and they don't give up. They try to roll over a million times and they don't give up. If they did, they'd never grow up. They'd never move. We forget this as grown-ups. We make mistakes, we fall down, our dream doesn't happen the way we thought it should, and we want to run. At least I often want to run. I will speak for myself. I want to give up. It's too hard. It's not what I wanted. And yet there's a gift inside there. You know the old story about under that pile of manure, there's got to be a pony. In the book, she talks about when we make mistakes, do it grandly. She has her students, if they make a mistake, she teaches them what's called the circus bow. And in the circus, clowns are taught that if they make a mistake, they face the audience and they go, ta-da! And then they turn to the other side and go, ta-da! Like, I meant to do that. Ta-da! Can we ta-da our mistakes? Ooh, I just said a really mean thing to my husband. I didn't mean to say that. Ta-da! I meant to do that. Years ago, I was at my bonus son's, we don't like stepson and stepmom, so we say bonus son and bonus mom. I was at his college graduation in Sarah Lawrence in New York. And there was a huge tent and hundreds of people and lots of students getting their diploma. And he's about in the middle of the alphabet. So I knew I had some time and I needed to use the restroom. So I wandered off trying to find the closest one. And as I'm coming back, I'm coming down a staircase outside of the main tent. And the students are coming across on a platform, receiving their diploma, coming out at the top of the staircase, and then going down a long line of parents and well-wishers applauding and clapping for them as they come down the stairs and down this walkway. Well, that was the same way I had to go to come back from the restroom to get back to my seat. So I want to get back there and I'm rushing down and I fall down the stairs, like I trip on the last one and literally go kersplat in front of this whole line of people on the concrete. And I hear an audible gasp, oh, and I bounce up. Thank God I bounced. And I said, I'm okay. And then I said, ta-da! And everybody went, woo! I don't know what made me do that. I hadn't read this book yet, but something made me just say, ta-da! I mean, like, that was amazing, wasn't it? What else can we do? We can hide, we can be mad, or we can find the ridiculous in the sublime. Let's take a little breath first before I go on. I've got one more little thing I want to talk about. Just notice what you notice. And come back. There's a French cooking term, bricolage. I'll spell it for you. B-R-I-C-O-L-A-G-E, bricolage. It's the art of using whatever is at hand to make something delicious, turning limitations into opportunities. My mom and I didn't know this term, but it's the way we cook. My husband, my stepdad often say, this is delicious, and we're never going to have it again, are we? And we say yes, because we will never have the same leftovers that we somehow threw together and made something new. Bricolage. Can we do this in our life? Can we take whatever is at hand, pull it together, and create something new, something beautiful, something creative, something tasty? And if it doesn't work, can we say, ta-da, I tried it. That didn't work. I had a spectacular failure. I've had a couple of those. My husband so lovingly says, this is not a repeat. Not, I don't like this, or thank you very much, but he'll say, this is a repeat, or this is not a repeat. Stating preferences, preferred and non-preferred experiences. So can we discover what's available? What is here? What can we do? This time in our lives is just so ripe for creativity. We can't meet in person. Okay, so what can we do? We can't do this the way we've always done it. Okay, well, what can we do? We can no longer accept the way our country was founded and the way that it has affected millions and millions of people from the foundation of our country. What can we do? We can educate, we can take a stand, we can hold this idea that we do so beautifully in our philosophies that there is only one. There is no separation, that whatever happens out there is also part of me. That the people that I see and judge and deem as less than or unworthy, or I don't agree with their thinking, where is that in me? Where is that separation, that fear, that hatred in me? Can I notice it, acknowledge it, and use it to move me forward? Can I recognize the contributions of so many others in my life and in the life of the world, and how they have blessed me with wisdom and knowledge that I wouldn't have had otherwise? I'm breathing. I remember vividly seeing an interview with a young woman who was raised in a white supremacist family. And somehow something happened and shifted her entire way of seeing the world. And her whole mission now is to what she calls rescue those people who have been indoctrinated into white supremacy, because she understands them so well that she can be a voice to help change hearts and minds. I can only imagine the grief, the shame, the possibility of never moving an inch forward when she had her moment of realization. This is what I've believed, and this is wrong. I watch a show on HBO called We're Here. And in this show, 3 drag queens go to a small town in America. And they've set up in advance that they're going to work with 3 different people in these small towns and put on a drag show. And usually there's one person who is gay or transgendered. There's one person who's what we would call heteronormative. And there's usually another third person who's a mixture of all kinds of things. And the last episode that I watched was a mom who was going to be in this drag show, who had not seen her children in 8 months because her daughter had come out as bi, and her family was deeply Christian, fundamentalist Christian. And her mom said, no, that's not who you are, and basically refused to see her. And so her daughter and her son chose to move back with her ex-husband rather than be ignored, unseen, invisible, and unaccepted in their mom's life. And now their mom, something shifted. She now is one of the moms that stands at a pride parade with a shirt that says Mom Hugs, and hugs people whose families have rejected them, who no longer have a mom. And she stands with a line of women just hugging people. And she's a voice now in the community. And she said at the end of her drag show, they all get a chance to speak. And she said, what I noticed was when I came into this community, you know, the audience that's made up of people who are open, I never was rejected. Despite who I have been and despite the way I have rejected others, people in this town who've known me, who now accept me, who love me just as I am, mistakes and all. I was wrong. There is a potential within every being for awareness and growth and learning, for education and shift. We can't force it on anybody else. Oh, it would be so good if we could, right? If we could just have it the way we want it to be. Control enthusiast. That's not our job. Our job is to go within, root it out from within, and then be a light. Be a loving, compassionate light for the whole rest of the world. So bright that we don't have to yell. It's just undeniable. We are love. We are one. Take a breath. I invite our beautiful musicians to share a song. I'm so grateful for getting the opportunity to be with you today.
I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good that I can do. It's what I say. Je ne peux pas faire tout le bien dans le monde a besoin, dans le monde a besoin de tout le bien que je peux lui faire. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good I can do. That's right. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good that I can do.
Beautiful. I love that song. We sing that a lot around here. I cannot do all the good the world needs, and the world needs all the good I can do. So we just take a little bite at a time. Don't try to eat the whole elephant at once. One bite at a time. Oop, I lost my order of service. No, I didn't. It's underneath my crystal bowl. So this is our time for meditation. I normally would play a little music or something, but Zoom sometimes doesn't like music. It does this weird cutting in and out thing. So I thought maybe we'll just do a little bit of bowl to bring us into this mindful space. So I invite you to close your eyes, settle into wherever you are. Take 3 deep breaths. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. Come into the stillness of now. Come into the awareness of your own breath. Notice your body. Do a scan from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. And just check in with yourself. Notice if there's any tension or holding. And you don't have to do anything about it. Just notice. Notice any thoughts you might have in your head. And you don't have to do anything about those. Just notice. Notice the way the breath automatically moves in and out of the body. And if you choose, imagine you're breathing for the entire planet. You're breathing for the earth. You're breathing for each and every being on this planet. The two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the eight-leggeds, the no-leggeds. You're breathing for those who struggle to breathe. You're breathing through fear and story, the appearance of discord and dis-ease. And just allow the breath to flow in the process, in and out. Just notice. Notice how it is right now. Notice, if you can, the still point at the center of your being, the calm, peaceful heart center. The place that has never been wounded or damaged, that is intrinsically connected with oneness. The place we can always go to and rest. Just breathe. Take one more deep breath in. Let it go. And another. Begin to come back into the space. Last breath in and out. Not the last, but the last maybe fully aware breath for now. And I invite our beautiful musicians to share another song.
Thank you, Asha. Something great is happening. Love is taking hold and it won't let go of us now.
Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. We're drops in one ocean. Roll on. Will you rise up
With me today, lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
If the tank of your highest calling, be the
hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Oh. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing. Feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision, dance in new directions, explore to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. If the dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. It's waiting for change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Oh. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. If you dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who make a difference. Let's stand together. Share gifts with a world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together. If you dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share gifts of the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Let's stand together now. Woo!
Awesome. Thank you, Asha and the Zebas, Tadas, and all. That was just absolutely beautiful. I can't imagine, any music or message that's as fitting as what's going on in the world right now. I have some last few announcements, and then Asha is going to give us a benediction, and then the Zebas are going to play a very familiar song. So I just want to say that you are supporting us by sharing our website and letting your friends and family know where you're spending your Sunday mornings. Your tithes and donations provide us with the ability to provide you with amazing speakers and musicians. You can donate on our website, unityoftacoma.org, using PayPal or Zelle. You can also sign up for text SMS updates on our website, which is going to be all the more important as we get closer to our date of when we can meet in person. So I just want to say thank you for joining us this Sunday. I hope to see you guys next Sunday. And yeah, Asha, if you could give us a benediction, that would be amazing.
It is my pleasure. So we just breathe in all that has been heard and said and felt and experienced. We truly know that we are all connected in this one life, right now through this amazing technology, but always in the mind and the heart of the one, to the amazing web of all of life. And what happens in one part of the web ripples out into all the rest of the web. So I just envision this place today, sending out ripples of love, kindness, and compassion throughout the entire planet and beyond. I trust that each and every being that is listening to this message at any time is blessed and is a blessing in the world. And so we can just let it all go in trust and faith and knowing of the grace that is happening right here in this moment. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you both for coming this morning, and thank you all again. Have an amazing rest of your weekend.